Hi there, my name is Rick Neagle and I'm the president of a political party in South Australia called Dignity for Disability. I'm also the father and carer of my son Mitchell, who has autism and is aged 12. I also have a daughter, Taylor, who's aged 14. I'm just going to speak to you about the National Disability Insurance Scheme related to that from a carer's perspective. And it was about 6 years ago that my daughter asked me why did I get involved as a disability advocate and why I was putting so much time and energy into the sector. And as we sat down at Glenelg near the beach eating our fish and chips, I explained to her that she had to imagine that Taylor herself and me and Mitchell were the government and that the fish and chips here was the Treasury. And I explained to her that the Treasury was this huge bank that had boundless funds to spend on many things that we can choose. And over there on the beach, the flock of seagulls, well, that's the disability sector. So I asked her to get the bum end of the fish and a few chips and we chucked them out to the seagulls, as one does. And we watched whilst the seagulls fought amongst themselves and we just continued to eat the fish and a few more chips. And it became quite apparent to Taylor then, as we watched the fighting, that she knew not only the cost of minimum chips, which was $3, but she also knew what the Productivity Commission knows, that the disability sector is underfunded, is fragmented, it's inefficient and inequitable. And look, there's no economic wizardry about the National Disability Insurance Scheme. It will correct inefficiencies by spending much more money directly on aids and early intervention programs, such as the Better Start for Children with Disability, or the Helping Autism package, thereby reducing the impact of disability for the future. These programs will be streamlined and become more effective under the NDIS by negating bureaucracy within the sector. The positive outcomes from these initiatives will ease the burden on carers so that their loved ones will not be dependent on welfare or correctional service systems. And furthermore, an estimated 220,000 co-resident primary carers of people with disabilities will eventually have the opportunity to gain meaningful employment, value adding back to economic productivity within this nation. The National Disability Insurance Scheme will also provide a greater flexibility in direct funding models. And in this way, the funding will be firmly attached to the individual with a disability, and in some circumstances with the carer, and not to an organisation or a specific program. This will create equity and promote choice through a portable mechanism that pools the costs of lifetime care for the entire well-being of the traditional family unit. And furthermore, the NDIS will become the tool to lessen our greatest enemy within, namely that of the disability sector itself. The antipathy that exists between disability organisations and people with disabilities, carers and other stakeholders will slowly abate. Now, that antipathy also permeates into the financial and emotional well-being of the traditional family unit. And the likely scenario is that families previously under stress who separate 9 times out of 10 when they are faced with caring for a child with a disability will have more resources to maintain their sanity. And with all of that said, the National Disability Insurance Scheme is not for governments, nor an empire, nor an organisation, nor an individual with private agendas. And it's certainly not for carers, nor people with disabilities, and nor service providers. It has to become the entire property of the nation. The NDIS will not be real until it's legislated like the Medicare levy, so it becomes part of the Australian system. And so as a carer, and on behalf of my daughter Taylor as a potential carer of her younger brother Mitchell, I echo the recommendations of the Productivity Commission and seek support from all Australians to ensure governments of the day not only make the NDIS real in 2012, but make the NDIS work in 2013, because it's essential. Disability is in all of our lives. Thank you.